it's not that bad. But like, luckily I have at least that option to do, but not everyone has the option. So it's like, I thought about that and I was like, it wasn't that bad. Like 2020 wasn't that bad. I don't know. I mean, but I don't know. Everyone's different.
Well, that's what the interesting thing about it is. It collectively was disastrous, right? Like as far as like in our lifetime, this is the worst virus that we've ever experienced. For half the country, this is the worst president that they've ever experienced. Even for the other half, I think it was still a little bit dicey, just with the way the energy was all year. But a lot of this transition for me, it kind of feels like, and kind of like as far as the coronavirus stuff goes, and the way that it disheveled people's lives, it could have disheveled your life for good.
Totally.
And the only kind of goofy part about what's happening this year is we're all collectively saying it was the worst year of my life. Sure, I think it was the worst year for a majority of people's lives, but like we all got to go through that together.
Yeah. At
least there's not a loneliness in the struggle this year. I had the worst year of my life when I just kind of exclusively had the worst year of my life. It was like my sophomore year in college. It got really weird with anxiety and depression and stuff. Learned a lot about kind of just taking myself from like the bare minimum person and trying to like build it up, being like, who is LJ? What the heck does he want to do with his life and all that stuff? Yeah. Although there is rediscovery with that every single year, that big wash away, I felt like I've already had that happen in my life. So where, financially this was a super weird year, and collectively it's sad to watch so much pain happen. But a lot of it was revolution, not necessarily ultimate pain, every element of the way.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have a brighter future after this year.
I do too. And I think like, you're right. We do have a brighter future because of what's happening. And like, you're right. Because if you went through these experiences exclusively, like imagine if like there's a bunch of people, 30% of the workforce just lost their job for no reason. They'd be like, everyone would say, well, toughen up, get another job, move on. There wouldn't be a reason why that happened. So I totally get it. Because imagine all these situations when people were going through this by themselves. Horrible. I think, there's always, and it's interesting because like everyone has different perspectives. There's also people that you've seen that has gotten richer throughout this whole process.
Right.
People, like I said, has gotten poorer throughout this process, lost everything throughout this process. Businesses are people that had no reason went broke, because of just what's the laws that were put in place through to people that have they didn't even elect. It's pretty crazy.
And that's what like it does. I totally am empathetic for all the business owners that have lost their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely empathetic for all the people that have lost their lives during this thing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, absolute disaster.
Oh my God, yeah.
But for the people that didn't lose their business or didn't lose their life, there is elements that this restructuring re-centered you and would go, maybe I was chasing like some bullshit career that I was just kind of like locked into. Like I got out of college and I just started walking towards this thing. And I had stumbling blocks along the way, but I never had anything that just ultimately put me on my ass to then go, wake up. Yeah. Like, you only have one life to live.
Yeah.
Do what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
And live that life. We've seen a lot of people move out of cities with like, man, like I knew I was going to move out of LA at some point in my life. Now they're finally doing it.
Yeah.
They're just taking those chances. So for us to always look at this as like an Achilles heel, I can't look at 2020 as just the ultimate Achilles heel of this country. I think it was the time that we really got beaten down, got put in the weight room, and we're like, all right, we're going to learn how to put on more weight and walk through this, hopefully stronger, not weaker.
Yeah, perseverance, resilience, even. Because it's just been a bit of a crazy battle for everyone, and my heart goes out to people that lost their jobs, and lost their family members, and lost their lives and everything, and that's not good. I know people who've lost, I know people who passed away from this.
Yeah,
and for the people that found this to really found this experience to really grow from, I think this is really important. stage because you had the time to not only think about it, but have the time to yourself. Um, People like to add on to what you're saying. People even left marriages that they finally realized were just like, this is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
I can't have this. And like I said, moved out of state because of whatever reason, taxes or whatever. Bought the house that they always wanted
Mm-hmm.
because it's available, and do things. Myself included, I had a big change this year on like basically career path. I thought I was going to be in sales, high level sales, and I finally got to the place where I was like, wow, I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can make a difference in in my field, and thinking that I finally made it to the spot where you can do it, and that everyone's jealous of, and then boom, you get let go. And then you're like, all right, well, that's fine. Well, I guess I'm just going to start something completely different. Don't get me wrong. It took me a while to do that. And it took a little bit of medicinal help. But, having that time to actually do that, because I never had time to do that, really, literally changed the course of my entire life.
For a good thing.
For an absolutely good thing. And it could be, I could look back at this moment and be like, wow, I am actually very grateful this happened. Very grateful I had the time to think all this through.
So isn't it weird though, we've gotten to a point in society where it's dangerous to speak like that right now?
Yeah.
Like we don't want to have people with voices of perseverance during times of huge setback. Right. Like this whole, like, if someone's like waking up and saying, dude, 2020 could have been great for us. You can walk through it strong. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the worst year of all time. It could be a building year, a building block, setting a new tone. People go, oh, dude, be empathetic, man.
Yeah.
That's dangerous language. It's like, no, that's the human condition is to fucking survive. Mm-hmm. So sorry that I'm optimistic about survival when it comes to humanity.
Right.
We will survive this.
Yeah.
And we will overcome it. And I just don't want to be the generation that we look back on our kids like, hey, Dad, like, how did you deal with COVID? And it's like, oh, like, man, like, I just sat inside and waited until it got better.
Until the government told me to walk outside.
I dealt with the pain internally, and I just sat there and it was sad.
But I stayed strong. I stayed strong inside.
No, but like you're gonna be able to tell people like, bro, I altered my career. I shifted it up. I found myself. I started doing exactly what I always wanted to do. I left a job that didn't matter to me, and I started going towards a career that I always had on my heart.
Always.
That's dope.
Yeah. And you know what? That's going to pay off because it'll be like, yo, kid, that's why you have the dope life that you live. Matter of fact, that's why you have a happy dad that's not mad all the time because he took, he kept going on the wrong path and just accepted it. And now I'm your 50-year-old dad and just hates his life.
Yeah.
Rather than being happy in a place that you always wanted to be. Big difference.
Yeah. And so there's been worse times in history. We have to stop the conversation that this is the worst time in history.
Yeah.
That is absolute bullshit.
That's bullshit.
This is a difficult time in our lifetime, but not when it comes to the spectrum of what the heck everyone else has got through.
Yeah.
And so, and the voices that we love when we think about what happened in the past were the optimistic voices that carried us through difficult times. And so why are we celebrating all the pity party bullshit right now? Like, and we're almost feeling negative to say, dude, we got this. Mm-hmm. We can persevere through this. This doesn't got us.
Right.
So the funny thing is, so you went live on stereo before and you were waiting for to connect with me. Mm-hmm. And there was this kid that got on and was like, hey, like, I'm not celebrating the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, nah. And it's the typical shit. Like,
I'm like, first of all, not say don't celebrate. He said, I don't believe in the New Year's. I'm like, dog, the New Year's is going to happen regardless if you like it or not. Okay. Tomorrow. But he said, I don't believe in New Year's because of, I don't believe in starting New Year's resolution. I feel like I should start a new resolution, no matter what the date. But yeah, that's great. But it's also like, I don't know. It's just, the guy was just so down and just so disappointing and sad. I hung up on him. I just didn't want to hear it because of feeling like, oh, this is so horrible for me and why it come into my sad pool stories. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just I'm moving forward, and I like and because we heard too much sad shit. I heard the news every fucking day. I'm tired of it. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's just we get to move forward. I don't know, man. Like I want to get into this later on. I feel like, dude, this is a renaissance, motherfucker. This is the fucking 20s. This is the 2020s, my guy. And we're gonna be looking back at this and be like, yo, I wish I just fucked shit up in the 20s. I wish I did what I needed to do in the 20s. Like people look back on like the 90s,
Right.
the 80s, and all these different situations. Why do I say that? Because I feel like we're like in a big technological like Western in a way.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of technology out there, and all these different technologies are getting very good, and there's these applications are like doing things where they could be cutting corners, or they're maybe intruding on your privacy, or doing this, doing that, but there's no like laws against it. It's kind of just happening, right? Stuff these things in technologically, stuff is just kind of going by the wayside, and no one's really getting caught for it unless it's like some high crime out in the open.
Got you.
Shit.
So you're saying it's a wild, wild west.
It's a wild, wild west.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And eventually, it's gonna some politician is finally gonna get it, and then they're gonna start shutting shit down. But I feel like now,
I don't know then.
Maybe, because dude, a tech guy can run for president and be like, yo, everybody stop. I mean, stop invading on people's privacy. Stop putting fucking Amazon Echoes in people's homes. Stop doing all this crazy shit.
Because every single thing that we talk about, my phone gives me an ad the next day, bro.
Dude, there's podcast apps on my phone right now. Like, there's the next day. I shit you not, I was talking to my friend about your friend's chicken spot, and I literally, my cousin, I was like, I want chicken, and I said fried chicken, and I literally opened up my phone, and it was is Nashville Coop LA. Shout out to them. Their chicken spot. There's advertising as the first post.
They got the advertising.
I got the advertising.
Shout out to Nashville
as
Coop
their
though.
First post.
Maybe they're in cahoots with the big tech.
I think they are.
I think they're kind of. I mean, I know them as a dope ass little chicken shop.
Yeah.
But like, that's how they're blowing up, because they're in cahoots.
I think they're Illuminati, my guy. This small little chicken
Their
shop.
spices are like that though.
That's why they're always pulling up next to dispensaries, because they're sniping. They're trying to figure out what's going on the inside. So no, man. So like all this crazy wild, things that you can do with technology, especially Bitcoin, is still not even in full blown use yet. Like all these different things, and once, I don't know, man. Like this is just a time I feel like we can just go wild for free in a weird way. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the 80s, you don't look back on who did what, or what crazy shit who did. You celebrate it.
Right.
You celebrate the Madonnas and the what's her face that fucked the president. And
that's what I'm so confused by is, who are we going to celebrate when we look back on 2020? So like,
yeah,
are we actually going to celebrate Fauci? Like when in 30 years time, who is it that we're going to sit around and be like, man, that guy gave me hope. That guy held it down for culture during 2020. Mm-hmm. Who is it right now in my eyes? Is Elon Musk.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
He is that guy where he's kind of counter to a lot of the bullshit that the media is always spouting off on. Mm-hmm. He is resilient and walking through disaster.
Yeah.
Obviously he's a scientist guy. He is able to understand and then articulate the nuances that it takes to do something great.
Yeah.
But then he overcomes this gap of, but should we do it? Yeah, we should fly to Mars.
Yeah.
That takes risk.
That takes a lot.
We celebrate people that take risks. And that doesn't make me an anti-masker or any of that stuff. But I'm saying that fear shouldn't win.
Yes.
So Clorox yourself, wear your darn mask and all that stuff. But let the whole pity party stuff has got to quit.
Yeah, and it never lasts. It's got to be done. Because how is that going to serve you in the long run? It's not.
It's not going to serve you.
It's like fear is risk, and risk, I don't know, man. Risk taking is what is what the new, like, I don't know, maybe I don't phrase it, but well, that's what's interesting. I think because what I noticed is when this was all happening is because so many people were going into fear mode, and I got pretty excited because I'm like pretty fearless, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun because if I like pull up basically fearless, it's gonna I'm an outlier at this point.
Yeah,
you're an outlier because you're not tucked in. You're not necessarily. I'm not. You're just like fearful of everything, and more people are becoming fearful of everything. So like even beyond COVID, there's going to be more people that are just fearful from COVID, and then move on with that fear.
And we're celebrating it.
Yeah.
So like the people with deep anxiety and depression that are fearful of everything,
yeah,
we're patting them on the back right now, and we're saying you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be, man. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah.
It's even worse than you thought.
Yeah.
And they're like sucking their thumb, going, "How bad?" And we're like, "Really bad."
Yeah.
That's not helping.
No. And it's interesting because it makes me think of that one Black Mirror episode when everyone was tucked into their little cubicles, but then like things were just still happening. Like the celebrities still are making movies, they're still making shows, the shops are still open, Macy's is still open for motherfucking business, and somehow, but you need to stay your ass inside, or you're gonna get everyone sick and your grandma, and you're gonna kill your dad too. And,
that is what we're in right now.
Literally, because I'm like, somebody's lying, and that's what it comes down to. And again, we're not rejecting COVID. We get it. We understand. COVID is real. We get it. But what I'm saying is the over exaggeration,
right?
The extra bit of fear that's happening. It's just like it's not helping.
And that's why, like, I don't celebrate people that are like partying through COVID.
No,
like going to these underground, like huge parties. No, I'm not celebrating that person. Mm-hmm. But the person who's willing to be like resilient and walk through this and just do it. Mm-hmm. And like the dopest people right now are obviously frontline workers and healthcare workers.
Of course, yeah.
Like they're able to walk through this with grace, with truly the weight of the world on them. Yeah. And they do it with hope, without panic.
Yeah.
And while they're supporting our systems, I just don't think panic helps any of it.
No.
And we're just getting so, like, I'm always waiting for, like, what is the next hysteria?
Yeah.
Like, the last 4 or 5 years have just been, like, hysteria after hysteria after hysteria.
Yeah, it's always something.
And I get it that there's scary times that we went through, but we lived through them. Yeah. Most of us lived through them.
Yeah, like, dude, there was a time where, I kid you not, someone told me when Trump got elected not to go outside because I was black. Guys. Now, I can see. I'm one to understand like different perspectives, so I can understand what the person said and why he said it, right? But at the same time, it's like, dude, like if you bring that into the space, a lot of times too, if you bring fear into the space, you're the one who ends up causing it too.
Mm.
So imagine I pull up to you and near you at a burger stand, and I think you're racist. You're just eating your burger, but I'm like, that energy is just emanating off of me, thinking that you're racist, and I'm getting angry. I'm just like, ooh. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is like, so like when Trump got elected, I was in San Francisco, and I went to a prayer night for the Black individuals within our congregation, and we talked about what was to come.
Yeah. And
we prayed that bad things wouldn't happen and that the country wouldn't upend itself.
Yeah.
And there was conversation that night that slavery will get reestablished in America in the next 4 years. Mm-hmm. And we prayed that it wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. So what I'm a little bit confused about is that on that night in San Francisco, the night after he got elected, we prayed that slavery wouldn't happen in America. And there were some people there that legitimately thought it was going to start again.
Right.
And then now, 4 years after Trump gets elected, which I actually think race was an issue during Trump's period. In fact, don't get me wrong.
It totally was.
Like, I think he made race relations worse.
Yeah.
I think it got, he's a horrible leader for that stuff.
Yeah.
I have no problem with anybody feeling that he's racist.
No,
because like he comes off racist to me.
Yeah.
And so like, so all that, but like when people say, but it was worse than we thought it could have been. I go, No, we thought that it could have been like. What are we talking about?
No, we thought when Trump got elected, people thought the absolute worst, and it was nowhere near as worse as we thought it was going to be. It was basically more annoying, if anything, but like not like and shit went down that historically happens that got exposed again. But it wasn't. I would say everything the worst thing that could happen, but
like I do think that like we took a step back with people that think policy changes race relations. I get it how they go. Look, we took a step back when it comes to race in America during President Trump's era because with that type of policy stuff, he did draw us back. However, I think that people and hearts and conversation changes race relations, not policy.
Absolutely.
So that's my only issue with it. I actually do think people's minds and hearts and Americans' conversations drastically got better this year.
Yeah.
And not because I think Trump stirred the pot in a horrible way.
He almost made the conversation happen.
But everyone else got to rebunk it and go, that's not how we want to do it as Americans.
Yeah.
I don't celebrate anything that he did when it comes to what it came down to the way he promoted race in America. He did a horrible job, and he could be a racist guy. Like he comes off like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how that always plays out. Like if you come off like that, are you for sure that, or how that works?
Yeah.
But
in different, because it's in the air. There's no reason to speculate on it. But it's like because definitely a bad leader when it comes to that, because a leader can help race relations, and but also it's like you said, it's people that have those conversations. And he definitely did stir the pot for people to have that conversation, because even during the George Floyd protests, and we were in LA, and I was talking to people
where we became friends.
Yeah, we became friends, and talking to people about these issues, and people, there's always going to be a course of everybody, but people want to be educated on what's happening around them. What I love about being in a city, and I was talking to a buddy about this, is because you're forced to live around people. No matter mix of different races of people. So you can't you can be racist all you want, but you kind of need to behave yourself, basically.
Yeah.
And then to that point, if you want to learn, you always have an option to availability to learn with other people. And I was able to share with people my experiences and other people's experiences, and it opened the conversation wide for more people to understand on a deeper level what everyone goes through, and I think that is important.
Did you feel like it got more racist the last 4 years, in the U.S.?
A little bit, I feel, but I also
in reality or on Facebook, or in what sense of that?
I feel like it was already coming, because if you look online and 4chan, stuff like that, if you look at different websites, people are pretty wild online, and then it's kind of a ticking time bomb until more and more people come up, and then they start showing up in the streets, and then they start protesting, and then they start burning shit. It's really a time thing. So I wouldn't, but like I said, Trump didn't say no, that's bad. He just kind of don't take down the Fort General Lee's statue. That's bad. We don't want to do that. And then the racist goes, yeah, that's bad. Don't do that.
Right. Well, then a guy runs over somebody, and then he doesn't really have an empathetic. He doesn't say that's bad.
Yeah.
So that's where he's completely misled and misguiding us in those spaces.
Right.
But I mean, not much of the country actually, even the people that vote for him, don't actually agree with the way that he stands with a lot of that shit.
Which is wild, because I know people who we had a great relationship with some people, and they voted for Trump. They don't. I know they're not. I know these people are not racist, because they fucking they love me, and I love them back. But that doesn't make them racist either for voting for Trump. It really doesn't. But that means that means these people don't agree with half the shit that he says, but they agree with. But also a lot of times they just really don't like what the other people.
I think we really are in that political time where
it's
less about I mean, like, liberals hate Biden.
Yeah.
They just don't really even know it yet.
Right.
I feel like,
right.
well, because everybody did when we were talking about Elizabeth Warren and like Sanders. I mean, dude, everyone hated Kamala Harris like early on,
and I was like,
and then like now it flipped around where she's actually the reason Biden won.
I know.
It's so funny how stuff like flips like that.
I know.
I actually think she seems pretty like good.
She seems fine.
Yeah, I was saying that even when like the prelims were happening, I was like, Kamala Harris seems like she has like a pretty good track record, like all that kind of stuff, and people were like shouting me down. They're like, if you don't vote for Bernie or you don't, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to vote for either of these people, but like, I'm surprised like y'all don't like Kamala Harris more. Yeah. And then like 6 months later, everyone's screaming at me, you don't like Kamala Harris. I'm like, no, I'm not going to vote for it, but I actually was the person who was talking saying like, she didn't seem that bad.
No, she was all right. I mean, I guess. I mean, I to be frank, I didn't really know who she was. I just know she was kind of like there, somewhere there. And it's interesting, but also like people will like okay. So one thing is amazing to me is people will really like dig and find some like just one little thing that to pin you on and like label you as that thing.
Yeah,
which is
they're amazing. Always trying to find that extremist statement and pin you on it.
And then sometimes I'm like, what does that even mean? Like when a lot of times like when the Republican people will call someone a globalist, and they're like, you all are globalists. That means they believe in the world's economy. That's what that means. Right. It doesn't mean anything else. Like whatever.
100%.
So it's like so they label Kamala against this and that and this and that. But I'm like, first of all politicians have their shit. Every single one. So there's always going to be...
You have to be a weirdo to want to be a politician.
Very weird, Like,
I think we all have it, like, somewhat in us where we're like, oh, we could, like, be a politician. But rarely do people actually step up and say, I want to go and be this puppeteer and run around the country and say the same thing every single time that I step up to the podium.
Talk to a bunch of idiots, kiss a bunch of weird, ugly babies. I'm not interested. And then on top of that, I gotta argue with a bunch of idiots like in the state about the stupidest things. Like, hey, can we get water in my district? Oh, Hershey's, and then like it's a fucking stupid. I don't want to get it, and but at the same time, I kind of want to try it.
Well, no, like I think it'd be fun to be a governor. I think at a governor level or a mayor level, you actually are like talking about like real stuff. Yeah. But sometimes I think when it gets to like the Congress and Senate, they're like obviously talking about real stuff, but I don't think they're really talking about stuff that the government can have much effect on a lot of the time. Like they want to be so influential, and like certainly they are right now, but I think that they're sometimes only influential in like the ether than like actually in the reality of it. Yeah. I don't know.
It's I mean, like, were you here during the time that Arnold Schwarzenegger was
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So I was a bit too young to understand anything was going on. But like I mean, I don't think he did. I mean, yeah, even them, they're kind of like in the ether. They're kind of just like talking heads. It's weird because they don't do. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger good and damn well did not like sit up in there, walk to people's office, and like really like negotiate hard down or like everything, like every listener, every order. Yeah, people do it.
Right. You have like a little council that you go to. They bring up the agenda. Yeah. And then you're kind of like the head of the PR. Yeah. And you just are the talking head.
Yeah. Because imagine like Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up in your office of like District 9 and he's just like, hey, like, how come you're not doing, how come you're not doing your job or some shit? However his accent is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you're like, what do you want? Fucking Terminator. Like, get the fuck out of my office. Like what? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to listen to you. You're very unruly. So I don't know, like, and like, but also like you looked at that, you saw that as the presidential level. Barack Obama always talked about how he like would pull up to Republican offices and try to like negotiate something. Yeah. And they were like, get the fuck out of my face to the president. So, I see how shit doesn't get done sometimes, but
like, yeah, like they're so powerful, but they can't get half of the people within their own thing. Yeah. Which is Congress or Senate to do anything that they desire. Yeah. We're so split down the middle.
Right. And not because of anything like substantial. It's because of their whole party doesn't like them and they follow the party.
It's weird that we just can't be disagreeable. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't think like politics is irrelevant. I think it's very relevant.
Yeah.
But we've gotten it. It's too relevant in all of our lives on a daily basis. But we're just playing this tribal game of like, I just want my side to win.
Yeah.
It's really not about like even initiatives and agendas. It's just, I want my side.
Yeah. On my side.
And so we're so willing to always just select the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
That's where it just gets kind of weird to me.
That's where Kamala came in, because they're like, oh, okay, I guess so, because it was the lesser of two evils. We're not mad at her anymore.
Well, like, you know, like people are always like, oh my gosh, like Trump is such a totalitarian and a fascist. Yeah. Garcetti is a real totalitarian. Like that's what this is. Like Newsom, the way that these orders are. Bro.
That's
Trump never did this. No. Like, and so we don't even know what some of these words mean half the time. I feel like when we're saying that doesn't mean that Trump wasn't a bad president.
Right.
I think that he really struggled in a lot of key areas. Yeah. But I also don't think he did bad in some areas too.
Yeah.
But then like the most totalitarian people right now are these wacko lefty mayors.
California, man. Dude, and I love this state. But what the fuck, bro? In LA too. I love LA. Like Jesus loves God, but what the fuck? Like, so you know, these like hardcore stay at home, shut the fucking outside dining down, like everything stopped, but the malls are open. Like,
I just love like when Garcetti's just like, don't do anything,
bro. Yeah,
I love watching him on Instagram. It's so funny,
and like the camera is like really close to his face too. He's like, stay inside.
She's like, don't go anywhere.
Don't fucking. Even fucking
Let's see, mayor of LA right now. Here we go. Los Angeles. My message could not be clearer. Do not get together with those outside your household today. Dude, that's you, bro. Do not host or attend a party in person. Do not travel. Please celebrate virtually and welcome the new year in with people in your household. Stay safe, save lives.
Look, I saw 16,000 people today at Walmart. Shut up, clown. That's what I'm talking about. Because this fucking idiot would not. If you're gonna say something, you got to be clear, or you got to be clear across the board. You got to be fair across the board, or just not say it at all.
But he's treating us like
sheep,
like second grade kids, dude. Do not
sit down. Do not move. Stay in your spot.
And I love it how like. The funny thing that people get a little bit confused by is that you could never actually in America legitimately make this a law.
No.
Do not.
No.
Go outside. No. Do not have anybody come to your house. Yeah. Like where it's like really that finable.
No.
And so like these are only suggestions.
Yeah.
And he tries to act like he is.
Statements.
You want to talk like, dude, that is a fucking dictator.
Yeah.
That is exactly what a dictator sounds like.
It really is, like full flat. I mean, there's nothing more clear. It's weird because, because I mean, what does a dictator do? Like, I mean, like, you know, all the women to the left, all the men to the right. Like, you know, men, do not do that and do not do that. Like, women wear a hijab, or men, don't come near women. I don't know, some shit. It's laws that it's laws that intrude on everyday freedoms.
And then so 5 hours before, he's helping out the Red Cross LA, distributing mask sanitizer, safety stuff outside to people. So is that do not go outside, do not gather, do not go with people not in your household?
I don't know, man. That looks like New Year's Eve to me.
That's what's so weird to me. So how is it like, at the same time, he's saying, do not leave the house today. Yeah. I get it. Great. You're helping out. You're passing out masks. Yeah. And you're doing your little thing. Yeah. But that's do not go outside when he's outside today?
Yeah, who's supposed to be served if no one's supposed to go outside to get served?
And then he's taking pictures with people that obviously are not all in the same household.
Yeah. So you're like, it's bullshit, bro. It's just complete bullshit. I mean, I don't know what else to say, That's why I will run for mayor of LA. Come soon.
You're already fired.
Oh no, your boy's coming soon. This is an idiot. I'm just gonna dress in a fly suit. I think the way to run for mayor is So that guy is like his dad was like a Garcetti, who was like another mayor of LA in the past. Eric Garcetti. No, he is who's Garcetti?
This is Eric Garcetti.
His dad or some shit like is a Garcetti or something.
Oh, really?
It was like a mayor or governor, one of the two.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. That's how he's popular because his last name Garcetti.
Gotcha. So he has some like lineage.
But it's also like there's a level like the Bushes, right? Like there's a level of like there's people you gotta know that gotta know you that like that's way higher than like just some random fucking citizens of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You gotta know the people that like really like make the influence and vote. That's why people can fucking their fucking sons and their sisters can run for office just cause. Because they know these people. So it's like I feel like there's a level of like, okay, this is how you run for mayor. So I feel like you got to do it like half Illuminati style, but like half like you love the people style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to really act like you're for the people, but you also have to make sure that you
don't show your lizard.
Yeah, but you also got to make everybody feel like you're smarter than them and that you know how to make decisions better for their life than they do.
Yeah. Even this.
So like I know how you, Cameron, would rather live your life. You don't know,
right? But
I know how you should live your life,
right? Me, like an architect that spent like years in school, or
no. I'll help you live your life.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what's good.
Got it. Oh, okay. Because I didn't come to LA knowing that at all. So like so you're half Illuminati, half of the people.
Yeah.
And you go to your Illuminati council meetings or whatever, and you meet all the people, and then they're like, and there's stickers on that, and there's like, this is how you do whatever, this is how you influence people, this is what you should do, and we're gonna get these people to vote on the side back door, shit, and you're like, okay, and then you leave your meeting, and then you have like, and then they entrust like a council person for you. That's like they say it's your council person, but he's actually like watching you.
Yeah.
And then like so you don't say the wrong things about like the Illuminati, and then you go out and you campaign. And then you're like campaigning, doing your fucking thing, and then to make sure you're saying the right thing. The guy's in the back like fucking watching you, make sure you do him. He's like calling the Illuminati members, like he's here today at 5:30. Yeah, he's on time. and then you kiss babies or whatever, and it's become well liked. But the reality is like I feel like you just have to become well liked around a certain amount of people. Obviously, the people who vote and the people that influence others. So you get around maybe some influencers of the city, and restaurant owners that people that well liked restaurants, things like that.
Some establishments
do all that shit, and then that's But I feel like the vote is in the back hole, like the back end. I don't know. And then but again, like of course, get your name, get your signs, make sure you have signs on everyone's yard and shit like that. But all you gotta do is hire people to tell people, because I used to do that. So like, hey, can I put my sign in your front yard? And then you go, why? And he's like, oh yeah, because mayor study is not for abortion. And you're like, or for abortion. And then he's like, yeah, okay, great. And then people like, so I think it's a process of years to go, but it's totally doable. Is my point. Because it really, you just meet those two classes of people.
Yeah,
handle your business.
You can do it.
Yeah, I can totally do it. I've done the other side. I just got to meet the.
This is like a start of your platform right now.
Yeah.
You're just a voice of the people.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure out how to slide in, y'all, so I can get the information, and then I'll tell y'all afterwards.
I like that.
I probably won't, because I'll become a loser.
So, this is the Smart and Mild podcast.
Welcome.
Where we are some mild people talking about some smart things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're going to hear some, a lot of our, I can't say that the things that we're saying are really always the conclusion of the thoughts that I'm having on matters in the world. It's just me thinking through the processes of it.
Yeah.
So I can't even be held to all the words that I say, because I'm just processing things out loud with my friend Cameron.
Yeah.
Just working through it.
I'm just saying shit,
Right. So, but that's what this is about. So what other topics do we have for today that you were thinking about processing what we're going through? This is New Year's Eve.
This is New Year's Eve, boy. This is 8:05 in New Year's Eve, California time, son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm having a great time. We are completely avoiding COVID rules. We have 12 people in the back, actually, and we are gonna have a party.
And it's like a fentanyl mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like water and fentanyl party in the back. All of it.
Okay, cool.
There's so many people downstairs waiting for our arrival.
Wonderful.
Once this live show gets done.
I'm so pumped. Like, this is why I'm drinking coffee, because I have to hurry the fuck up, because if I don't, then get really weird. All right, so I wanted to check out like a quick recap of the year. I don't want to go too long on this because we already know the main thing that dominated the news. COVID. We already talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it basically went on through all year. In my experience, I knew of it obviously in 2019. Then it started kicking in like January, February, and then then they're like, then I really found out, and to say the least, and then everyone started quarantining in March or so. I met you in June, by the way. Found that out.
We met in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
we met on a party bus.
Met in a party bus.
Well, no, not a party bus.
Well, I mean,
it was a bus that obviously was a party because we were
protesting.
But it's really a protest bus at the end of the day. It's a bus that spreads love. It's one of the coolest buses in LA. It's called the Hoop Bus.
Hoop Bus.
And they run around the country and just spread love through basketball, and they share a message of unity, but also resilience in protest.
Absolutely.
Of saying that like we're not there yet with some of the social causes that are going on in the world.
Yeah, they share like joy in the community, like and they'll go to every community no matter what, and be like, hey man, like let's play ball, let's have some fun, and that's what it comes down to. And these guys, in around March or so, George Floyd situation happened, and we had the protest obviously, and the Hoop Bus came up. There was like at least like a couple thousand people there during COVID, by the way, and celebrating, having a good time. I don't think anyone got sick, which was beyond me. At least no one that I know.
How did it not like? It's so interesting. Like,
so
doesn't that prove that like outdoor restaurants would be okay,
dude? Oh my god! So like,
because we were with, like, I don't know if you did the Hollywood stuff. There was times that like I think like 70,000 people were out on like Hollywood Boulevard.
There was a lot of freaking. There was like legit.
It's not like 15 people on a patio, socially distanced, table there with plastic in the middle. These
are people, like thousands of people. They're having them not wear masks. First of all, when you're that close, it doesn't fucking matter anyway. So let people know. Anyway, and people were protesting. Obviously I was in it, so I was like, there's a certain level of like, you don't care, right? But you don't care about COVID when a situation like this happens.
I agree with you. I actually like that's why I went to these marches.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this is a movement that, regardless of situation, needs to be discussed, talked about, and be observed. So that's why you make yourself present in those moments, because you're there for conversation. You're there to show numbers of people that are protesting what is happening, right? The way that police are treating people of color, right? Predominantly African American men.
Yeah.
And so that is a moment that we all said, it's appropriate to walk outside because this is bigger than a virus.
Yeah, this is bigger than a virus, yeah.
But so that's where that's where I don't even want to get down to the other rabbit hole, which you've already gone down. Mm-hmm. Like, living's bigger than the virus, bro.
Yeah.
And so like that. So we're at these protests on the Hoop Bus, though. It was great.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic, And by the time I got to you, drunk a little bit, and we went to Santa Monica and started shooting hoops, and we got the chance to come on the bus and move to new spots and just grab people and share good vibes. And like I said, thousands of people were out. I saw people afterwards. They didn't say anything about COVID catching them or anybody that they knew, but that's one other story. So we're just gonna move on from that. So what else?
Because we can't get caught in that thought loop.
Yeah,
we're gonna. When me and you are sitting around talking, it's usually kind of we're very ranty.
Yeah,
that is kind of the way we process things.
That is true.
But we are going to try to make this a fun podcast, not always just downward spiraled rants. People have experienced so far.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just remembered something because this thing told me what was happening month by month. The shit that was happening with Trump. So he was supposed to get impeached in February, and then Susan Collins in February was like, he learned from the impeachment. Remember that shit? They're like, he learned his lesson. And your fucking old ass face. And I was like, we're like, who the fuck, personal bitch? Who the fuck are you? And what learned his lesson? Nigga, No, he didn't. Like, everyone knew that, but
How fun? And I don't always want to come off as like this like ridiculous conservative that like just is always bothered by bullshit stuff that liberals do.
Yeah.
But sometimes I am that guy. So
yeah.
don't get me wrong.
No.
I think it's so hilarious when people are like, why doesn't Trump like concede?
Mm-hmm.
The left was so they handed off the torch and they let Trump become president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't Trump let Biden become president? There was a full court press until the day he leaves office of he's not my president. It was never an easy transition for Trump to take office. And so I think we just get so caught up in always like getting in these mind spaces of we forget how we acted to somebody where I can be like a complete jerk to you and then turn around the next day and be like, Cameron, why are you feeling weird about me? Like, I've always been nice to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could have been screaming at you the last day. It's like, that's sometimes what politics feel like to me. It's like, you got impeached. What are you talking about? There was an easy transition. The day after he got elected, there was elected officials going, we are going to impeach this man. And the process started the next day. That's not transition of power.
No. And they're screaming, yelling, and hollering. Oh, by the way, they also said that the popular vote should have counted. They did say that. I'm telling you right now, they did fucking say that.
And that is where it does flip, right?
Yeah.
So that is where, like, Republicans get their foot out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Where they're like, look, guys, like
the election thing.
They're like saying it happened, man. It's done. When Trump became president, they're like, it's over.
Oh, okay.
Like the people spoke.
Yeah.
And you should stop worrying about stop thinking about Russia. Stop thinking
stop
nobody colluded. Yeah. It's just a chill election.
Yeah.
Now it flips.
Oh my god, it flipped like a MF. It flipped so hard, and then the fact that like he won both sides, and they're like, no, he didn't. It's like, and then they like recount it, and they're like, no, he didn't. And, oh my god. So I can only imagine.
It is weird though that Republicans gained seats and the president lost. So that's the one thing that's kind of odd.
Yeah.
In what happened, which is like a lot of people voted for Republicans on like people on the right for like Senate and Congress seats, but they actually didn't vote for the president. And I was actually one of those people where I didn't vote for Trump, but there was different places on the ballot that I did vote for conservatives.
Me too.
And so a lot of Republicans are saying, look at how ridiculous this is. Like there'll be gaps of like 90,000 votes where it's like this person won, but Trump lost in the same district, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that sounds kind of wild, but I'm one of those people. So I guess maybe I'm not an anomaly in some of those thoughts.
You're not. And then it makes sense why voting is like, people don't really talk about their votes because, it's private.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I could have voted for Trump this whole time. I don't know.
You'll tell us in 30 years.
Yeah, we'll find out. I remember I did the mail-in voting, and obviously the ballot came to my parents' house, and my dad was like, "So you're voting Biden, right?" And I was like, what if I just say, like, no, Trump? What would have happened? He would like, he would have flipped his shit.
But think of everything that we dealt with this year, like. We were supposed to go into World War III. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's always hysteria. I was waiting for World War III. I was like, all right, let's do it.
We almost went into World War III with North Korea.
Yeah.
And then also Iran.
Yeah.
We dodged 2 World War IIIs. And from what I heard on my Instagram, it was inevitable.
Yeah, exactly. It was bound to happen.
It was inevitable.
I heard it on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the matter of fact, the missiles were in the air.
Yeah.
They were fucking.
So we were gonna have ultimate racial cleansing.
Yeah.
2 World War IIIs.
Yeah.
Death
to all of Southern California. Oh, as a matter of fact, the breaking off of Southern California and then the bombing of Southern California from North Korea.
That's right. The missiles were coming.
Yeah. And the Japanese tsunami. Jesus Christ. Let's see what else.
And there's even more. that we're just not even thinking about right now.
Yeah, there's way more. There's way more even on this list that we're not even thinking about. Like
let's run through the list a little bit. Let's hear what they're saying.
So let's go April, right? Tensions over COVID take center stage in April when armed demonstrations took to the Michigan State Capitol. Oh my God, remember that? Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmire said protesters can lead to extension of stay-at-home orders. Democratic governor asked White House to stop calling off protesters. So like this is when the Democrats would like, don't call off the protesters. Let them do, and the White House is like COVID, but also they're like, what's COVID? Anti-vaxxers spread fear about the future coronavirus vaccine. Of course they did. Still going on, didn't stop.
So stop there.
Yeah,
I'm a little anti-vaxxy right now.
I'm too. Like
I'm not like fully anti-vaxxy. This is my only argument with the vaccine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy the first Tesla truck.
Fuck no.
Because it was supposed to be bulletproof glass or something. Yeah. And then you throw a baseball out the window
immediately,
and it shatters.
By the fact that was the fucking presentation car. I don't want the PS5. Nigga, Sony been making PlayStations this whole time. I don't want the first PS5.
So that's all I'm saying is when you rush something out, it gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
That doesn't like round 3. I'm 100% on board. I believe in vaccination.
Yeah.
We eradicated polio.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for science, and science won.
Yeah.
Science will win.
Mm-hmm.
But like, when everyone's like, "How are you possibly hesitant about the first?" I'm like, the Tesla truck.
Have you heard
the Tesla truck?
Have you heard of first trials? Like anything? Like, oh my God! Like, I don't, dude. Like, there's so many situations where like the first trial you do not fucking get. Like, you don't get the first brand of a shoe. You don't get a brand like anything. You don't get a COVID vaccine. Like, my God. So, I don't want version fucking 1. I want version like fucking 8. You know, like when this shit's like refined, ready, done. When the shit I can just take it like a pill, just like it, boom, done. You know? Yeah. I don't want this shit.
I mean, remember the Samsung phones blew up?
Dog. And I bought the phone. The Samsung Note 7. And that, by the fact, that was...
They kind of rushed that?
On the lowest key, that was one of the greatest phones ever. And it fucking started blowing up.
And I was the Boeing 737?
Rush that shit. They rushed Cyberpunk 2077. Look at that shit right now. Can't run on a PS4. Nah, look at all this shit. Fucking,
that's all I'm talking about.
That's all I'm talking about. But but like I want this to say I want my vaccine like I want GTA 5 on the PS4. Okay, like updated, and then they made a new put it on a new console, and then updated again. You know what I mean? Like I want the high def, high res, anti-vax. Like give me like the flu vaccine updated now. Like give me like you know what I'm saying? I'm just not. I don't want that shit. So and then on top of that, 2 different vaccines. That means there's 2 different like completely different chemicals. That means like 2 different ways to fuck you up. And they're not the same.
And when it comes to this stuff, I am an idiot. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I believe that one of the vaccines is a vaccine in a way that we've never done it before. So usually the vaccines are like a little bit of the virus.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a fire drill for your body. So it's like, so when I see this next time, I'm going to already have all of the protective measures in place to not let that happen and not let that fire ultimately ignite your whole body.
Right.
But apparently one of these vaccines is like not actually, it doesn't have any element of it. It's only like a replication of it in some like attached protein. So it's a new way that we've ever done vaccines. So it's like,
don't give me that one. Give me the other one.
Right.
And I don't even know which one that is. Like, imagine, like, was it Pfizer, Moderna, Pfizer, and they get the fucking carts mixed up or something. Give you the wrong one. They're like, no. Oh, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. And by the way, other countries have different COVID vaccines. On top of that, Germany has a different one. The UK has a different one. They're not Pfizer.
People are just competing and trying to make it happen.
Australia could have the best COVID vaccine. And we
all collectively hate Big Pharma?
Yeah.
And now we are just like, Big Pharma stabbed me in the arm, and who's paying this bill?
Dude,
like, how much money are we handing over as a world to Big Pharma right now? in one of the. It has to. I'm guessing the vaccine is a huge money grab.
Yeah. And
this is not charity work that these people are doing. I don't think.
Yeah. No, they're not. And the government's like, billions, trillions, here, take it now, please, my God.
But we hate you.
Yeah, we hate you.
And you've ruined our lives with the white pills.
Yeah. But, whoever is making those, what are those things that's giving you those other diseases, that's giving you opioids? They're like, hey, man, like, whoever making it, if you can make a corona vaccine, hurry the fuck up. Whoever can do it, just handle it, please. That's what's really interesting. So, no, I'm not taking the first one. I'm not taking the one in the U.S. either. I might take the one in Australia, maybe South Africa. I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna do my research.
So you're gonna do that medical travel?
Yeah. Maybe the one in Mexico is cheaper. Yeah, boy.
Dude, let's do the Tijuana one.
Coronavirus vaccine, 15 cents. Let's go. No,
it's like they made me do it in the jugular.
Yeah, we're gonna come back all fucking.
It's the neck one.
Oh, come back all twitchy, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. This coronavirus vaccine, we ain't doing that shit. I'm not interested.
But thank God for science that we actually have a chance to just get over this thing. Yeah. Also,
that's what I was gonna say too. Sorry, I was gonna say when this coronavirus whole thing started. I don't know, man. I thought I was tripping balls, but last time I checked, weren't we like super anti-plastic too? Anti-plastic. You know how much plastic we've used since the fucking coronavirus started? Because like the bags for masks, the bags for the you need to use plastic lid, plastic that, plastic face mask, plastic that, plastic that. And I'm like, dude, I've never seen more plastic in the world since COVID started, like ever.
Dude, when the video comes out of a turtle choking on a mask, it's gonna be the white and blue medical mask, and it's just gonna be like.
Poor turtle.
Coronavirus will be done by Monday.
Bro.
If that video comes out on Friday. Coronavirus will be out.
We gotta save the turtles.
Save the turtles, take off your mask.
Fuck Corona. Everybody go outside. Because we gotta save the turtles. And then put your plastic in the recycle bin, please. No, they're lazy because I'm telling you, CNN is gonna stage that shit. And they're gonna flip the whole conversation. On maybe right on the edge when Corona's actually starting to end on social media first, but then they'll catch the wave of social media just to get with the people.
100%.
And then they're like, oh yeah, no, coronavirus is done.
It kind of happened even with the plastic bags at the end of the grocery store.
Yeah.
I remember 10 years ago, everyone was like, use plastic, not paper. Because if you use paper, we're chopping down the rainforest, save the rainforest. Yep. Now it flipped.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wait, you use plastic, bro?
Yeah.
You don't do the paper? I'm like, sorry, when I was in middle school,
yeah.
I got weird eyes from everybody if I asked for paper.
Yeah.
So I switched.
Now they're like, you don't use polyethylene, motherfucker? How dare you? Dude, and first of all, paper bags suck. I will tell you that right now. They're weak as fuck. Especially, it's only when carrying alcohol for some reason they're good. But other than that, they suck.
The best bags that I've ever found in LA, food for less, plastic bags. Dude, this is the type of plastic that it would wrap a turtle up. It'd be like a whole new shell for the turtle. It's the strongest damn plastic that I've ever experienced in my life.
Have you got a?
It's like a carry-on bag.
It's either CVS plastic or Target plastic. One of the two. That's really good. It's brown.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? It's pretty thick. It's thick plastic.
Just try food for less. It's amazing.
Food for less.
Yeah. It's like a tote bag.
Yeah. Dude, and that shit, I feel oh my God, what can, if we can recycle plastic, I'm trying to figure out, what all the shit that we can make from them. Because, man, it's a lot of plastic. I pulled up, I pulled up recycling something when I came here. I was talking about that.
So that was one of the issues. I had to throw out some batteries.
Yeah, the batteries.
I throw out probably 30 batteries a month. I don't know if that's incriminating.
Yeah, no, you're probably gonna get canceled for that.
And you take your batteries to a battery store?
Yeah, bro. I freaking
How long have you done this for?
Bro, since I was a little kid, legit 7 or 8 years old, and I would put my batteries, my old used batteries, into a little plastic cup. No plastic.
You had an environmental moral compass at 7 years old?
Low key. I was pretty young. I think my sister told me that's why. You're
like Greta Thunberg, bro.
Yeah. Dude, if I was her, she is my spirit animal. That's why I got a Prius. I mean, I was doing this at 7, put it in a plastic bin, and then just like I'll take it to this place and just like take. And I remember I saved batteries because I didn't have a car for like years. Like so, I had a couple of different bottles of batteries.
Do they give you money for them?
No, they don't give me shit. But I don't know.
They don't even give you new batteries.
Yeah, because no, they don't give me shit. But it's just like batteries. Like if you throw them in a trash can,
because there's mercury in it.
Yeah, then they end up in landfill, and then they sit in someplace in China, and then they just fuck up the air, and then the birds eat it, and then they just take it somewhere and then move it to the ocean, and then drop it in the ocean. So it's like, oh shit. I mean, at the same time though, like I've been like legit thinking about this, and I was like, what if I was the Elon Musk of like recyclables? Like if I just had the brain to just fix recycling problem. And that's a big problem to solve, even if you know the full blown answer, even if you have the resources to do it. And I've been thinking about this legit.
You think you have that big brain?
No, I sure as fuck don't. But I'm saying, like, what if I did?
Because we're streaming live on what? The Churro? What are you?
Churro God.
The Churro God.
Churro Gods, yeah.
King Cam Churro God.
Because Churro God has the answer to recyclables. I feel like the answer to recyclables is like, first of all, everyone has to recycle. Step one, obviously. Put this stuff in the right bins. And then but then everything has to transform into something else. All the plastics, but then you have to separate all the plastics and those plastics aren't
right.
And then, but like,
I feel like behind the scenes, it's all actually ending at the same place.
That's not what I'm saying. It really
I
is.
think that it's like this weird. Yeah. I have a conspiracy theory on it.
Yeah. That
it doesn't really all go to where we think it's going to go.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, you can't make money off too much. You can't make too much money off of trash unless you really know how to fix it cheaply.
Mm.
And because of that, no one cares.
What I found it was weird is, when you're in Minnesota, I'm from Minnesota, and Minnesota always has this perception that like California has it right with everything becomes like environmental. And in Minnesota, actually recycling is like dope. Like anytime that you go to like a public space, there's recycling bins and stuff.
Yeah.
You never see that like out and about in LA, really.
Very, very rarely. In Santa Monica, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Because,
yeah, they have like the decompressors.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, fuck yeah. But like anywhere else, they're like, yeah, no. But meanwhile, the mayor's telling you to do what you need to do. How about you fucking put some recycle bins up in this bitch? Anyway, like all this time, no fucking recycle bins in downtown LA still. There's still regular trash cans.
If you were the mayor, would you still go by the Churro God? That would still be your like AKA.
Maybe I think it would be like my low key Reddit name. Like as I'm like commenting on people's posts and like saying like they're like, oh fuck Mayor Study. Him like you suck dick, bitch. I'm like, Churro God account, and then just like commenting back like Mayor Study's.
Oh, so it's gonna be your dark account, the troll account.
Yeah, like Mayor Study's dope as fuck. He did so much for me. All his shit. He fixed my leg. I'm with
the same profile picture.
Yeah, yo, this shit.
All right, 2020 rundown.
So 2020 rundown. All right, so we're in May. So police protest officers kneel in solidarity with protesters with several U.S. cities. Good police officers can sit in complicit silence about racial injustice, top prosecutor St. Louis says. Okay, this is when the whole police conversations was happening. About like what cops should do and what not what cops should do and like their actions of course that was happening too, but it was another over conversation happening of like how all cops should be with like the social situation and like how they have to be like how all cops should like can't be racist and stuff like that. Number one, it's I don't know, man. So the cop situation was always a weird subject for me because my dad was a police officer.
Yeah.
And obviously, like me being black, so like literally, I'm thinking of two different things at the same time. And that's always interesting. But I think I feel like there's always going to be situations that are good or bad. Don't get me wrong. And also like there's also situations where cops are always going to feel like where they feel like they're doing the right thing. Or they feel like they're doing, they feel like they're doing the right thing, but also the thing to fix the situation or whatever. So, long story short is like my dad, he would tell me, like, he's like, yeah, it's really hard to get in trouble as a cop. He would always tell me this.
Right.
He would literally always fucking tell me this because he repeats himself a lot. And he's like, yeah, I would have to like shoot somebody like in front of the police officer's building for me to get in trouble.
But not even.
Barely at this point, right?
But not even.
And he's like, because of the union and all this stuff.
Right.
And at that point, I didn't really understand it. And I started to understand it as these situations were coming about because of how no one's really getting in trouble because there's like councils and this and paperwork.
It's the police
blah,
unions,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And the police unions will protect you, not really caring about what you did. They're just like police. And that is weird because of the situation, obviously being, African American and thinking of like, police should be scaled back, but also thinking like, I know what these police officers go through on an every basis, and they are dealing with like a lot of bad situations.
You've seen it in your own home. You've heard those stories.
Yeah. So it's like, but at the same time, obviously, like, don't fucking kill unarmed fucking people. Like,
I just don't. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, we just need the criminal justice system to be able to take in full effect that if you murder somebody, and that like I always kind of attribute it to like a boxer, right? So if a boxer punches someone in the face and kills them, because of their skill, they've been trained, and those hands now are lethal weapons.
Yep.
So they're actually subject to a higher degree of crime.
Yep.
Because of those hands.
Yep.
It should be the same as a police. It should even more. Because the badge, the swearing in, the protecting to serve,
training,
the credibility of the whole system is on the line.
What the fuck did we give you training for if you're just fucking shooting everybody left and right?
Right. So that's all. That's and I think on the baseline, that's all anyone's really asking for here.
And then taking responsibility.
The whole system just needs to take responsibility. The funny thing that happened in Minneapolis. So Jacob Fry. He is pretty much unanimously hated at this point from the left and the right. And he was one of those mayors that was out there protesting with the people, being like, fuck the system. It's like, you're the mayor, bro. What are you talking about? The system. You are the system. Like, it's sometimes we don't, and I think we all collectively actually as like citizens, like I'm 33 now, like I'm part of the system as a whole. Like my voice matters. Like the thoughts and dialogue that I'm having with my friends and with my community and the efforts that I can put in to benefit people matters. I can change things around me. And it's just, we've gotten so disconnected from reality sometimes that mayors were out in these protests being like,
LA too.
Like, fuck this. Like, what?
Like, niggas, you. Like, and but also, with that being said, that was really interesting when LA, when this happened, Mayor Garcetti, he was getting shit from the citizens and the police unions. He was getting some shit from the police unions.
They just need to break their contract.
And that was crazy. They like the police union threatened the mayor. That was some gangsta fucking shit. Like on Twitter. Like,
what did they threaten him with?
They were like, what did they say? Maybe you have to look this up.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Yeah, I can look up. Mayor LA gets threatened by LA police union. I'm like, that's some gangster shit. And they like put out the statement that was like basically like fuck Garcetti. This is some shit.
What, like, the whole police union thing is so interesting.
Unstable. Yeah, this one last shot at proposed budget. Yeah, because they're thinking about cutting the budget.
But why can't we just honestly cut our contracts with the police unions?
That to me, that's beyond. I don't even know. I think it comes to a couple of things. It's kind of like workers' unions. Like, oh my god, kind of like workers' unions. It's probably run by the mob. Number one. Number two. I feel like it has to do with like standardized pay. It has to do with like benefits that they get and like protection like that they get. It has to do with all that shit. Because if it's not, it's ran by the city, and the city obviously sucks at doing anything. So that's why. Yeah,
they're calling him unstable. We are worried about him and his future and the safety of our citizens.
Yeah. And when first
so they kind of people make that feel like we're worried about his safety.
Dude, if a police union says we're worried about your safety, that's some gangster. You better fucking be scared.
That sounds dirty.
That sounds disgusting. That's what they said. And I'm like, dude, like, Yeah, that was beyond crazy. That was probably the craziest part for me in 2020 to see that shit. Because I'm like, I never in my life have I seen like openly a police union threaten a mayor about the safety of your ass. That's wild.
So what is Garcetti saying? It starts someplace, and we are going to be who we want to be. We're going to continue to be the killers that we are. What is he talking about? He said this at church?
Who said that? Garcetti said that?
Yeah. Interesting. I don't really understand the context of it.
Yeah, they're taking quotes. They're kind of taking quotes.
Yeah, they're just kind of
quoting shit.
grabbing as they want.
It's okay, but the fact that the police union threatened him was just probably really wild to me.
Yeah, so he was mad. This McBride, who's the head of the LA police union, it's like he's smeared every single police officer in Los Angeles across the nation by calling us killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Shots were fired.
The shots were fired, and then
But the problem is the shots have been getting fired by the cops.
By the cops.
That's the biggest issue in all this, right?
By the cops, and they're just like, it's like, yeah, like we may not protect. They're like, yeah, we may not protect your house and shit. Like,
that's the thing. Like, I'm totally one of those people where I think that majority of cops are like some of the greatest people.
I think so too.
Like great citizens that are willing to put themselves in that type of position.
Yeah.
The problem is when the system supports, even if it is one bad apple, as we like to call it.
Bad apples, yeah.
Dude, it ruins it for everybody. Yeah. And and it's such a sacred system that like if you lose trust in it, and if any community member no longer feels safe around it, dude, like you gotta change it.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to that point. Like this, it's happened too many times.
Way too many times. Yeah, when that George Floyd protest happened, I didn't even see the video because I already knew it was going to happen because I've seen too many videos like that. I still to this day haven't seen the video. But I already like I saw it briefly and I was like,
you saw enough of it where you're like, yeah, I can't do it.
So anyway, next
2020 review.
All right, June. So protests were still happening. Coronavirus was still happening, obviously. So this is when Trump says he's president of law and order, declares aggressive actions against violent protests. So this is what we were talking about earlier, and he didn't help any racial divide because he's like he was really going in on the protesters that were protesting Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
but there was a big gap between who he was saying to stop, and there was a bunch of protests in different areas. But
there was actually different types of protesting happening in different areas.
There was different types of protesting happening in different areas. One for Corona, one for Black Lives Matter, one for people protesting Black Lives Matter.
But even like the BLM protests in Minneapolis, Portland, LA, they had different vibes.
Yes. That's another.
So
part.
like in Minneapolis, the vibe was different than it was in LA. Like LA was just people walking on the street and like chanting.
Right.
Where LA or Minneapolis, it got dicey.
Right.
On it, well, obviously because we lost a person in that area, so that's the nucleus of where it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But and then Portland was kind of less about like Black Lives Matter and more about anarchy.
Yeah, it was more about anarchy because you saw the videos. First of all, Portland barely has any Black people in the fucking first place. Second, you saw most of those people were just white, and they're just mad, and I get it because first of all, people in Portland are mad as fuck. Anyway, that shit was bound to happen to those motherfuckers. And then they're like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, and I get it, I appreciate y'all, but like y'all went over fucking board on a.
So I feel like I have a certain level of empathy to like Black people when you get these like highly privileged white folks that like say, I'm doing this for you. Like, I'm burning down this fucking building for you. It's like
what?
We're like, wait, this makes me not look so good. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like sometimes these white liberals, I'm like, are you helping? Like, I think that you're trying to make this worse.
Yeah. Like we appreciate the thought. The thought counts, but you burning down buildings in Black Lives Matter behalf.
It's like,
I don't know. I know that's the word, you know. So you know, but we appreciate y'all getting mad with us at the same time. Yeah, Portland went wild. I think Seattle. Did Seattle go wild too?
Seattle went wild.
Seattle went wild.
Well, because Seattle is where it went. That's where they had Chaz, right? They had that space that was blocked out.
Yeah, like the fucking little mini city or whatever.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Like in America, we had a time. Like this is what I'm gonna talk about. Like we're talking about 2020. We had a time where like the full-blown anarchists created their own like mini city and like they were blocking off people and like was like created this whole system in there. And like if people didn't obey, they like kicked and beat them up and.
They were like anti-border people, but they had a border.
Yeah, and then like I thought they were there for Black Lives Matter, but then it turns into like they were just like, no, we want to start our own city, and it's just like, and then all the people were like mad on the outside, and it was very weird, man. It was
pretty good.
I don't even get it. No one gets it. I don't think. And the crazy part about it is the people that were inside didn't get it either.
Well, and then they had like there was segregation.
Yeah.
So they would have like black only zones, and it's like,
what?
Wait, bro, like. That's not winning.
What?
That like, and they made them intentional spaces where they said there needs to be places where black people can have dialogue removed from white people, where they can grieve together, and not have influence through like whiteness in those spaces to misguide conversation. But like, wait,
so blacks over there and whites over there, right? Yeah, that's what you said. Oh my god!
It's like, where are we?
2020 was so wild. And like now that I'm looking over this shit, we're like, what the fuck is this? A lot of corrupt. Okay, let's skip over some stuff. A lot of corruption in the White House. The Bill Barr shit, and the Trump holding the Bible up in front of the fucking house after they shot. A lot of rubber bullets were fired at people during 2020.
A nickname that I really wish stuck more with Trump was Bad Grandpa. I like to reference him as Bad Grandpa.
Bad Grandpa. That's a good one.
It didn't stick.
Yeah, it did stick. Because he had a bunch of different names.
He's a bad grandpa, though.
Yeah, he had a bunch of different names. Let's see. Normalcy in July. When Major League Baseball finally returned in July. That's the whole story for July. MLB returned. Okay. So August, now we're getting to some shit. Oh, there's a hurricane? Hurricane Laura slammed to the Louisiana Gulf Coast in August.
That's right. We were actually having the biggest natural disaster of all time.
Oh, shit.
You remember? Everything was on fire, and we were having hurricanes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I totally forgot.
I like it, though. It's so funny to me when people... Like, I am a very religious person. So, like, I do think of, like, things that happen in my life about God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, this is happening about... Like, good things are happening. Like, this is about God. Bad things are happening. This is me trying to figure out, like, maybe spiritual warfare kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I am a weirdo like that.
Yeah.
But it is funny to me when, like, the hurricanes were coming and everything was burning. And they're like, that's because you voted for Trump.
Yeah. That was amazing.
That's because, like, the least religious people, spiritual people ever, still believe in, like, the Earth's karma towards, like, a political vote.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's amazing to me is when they voted for anybody Democrat, you know what the other people said? It's because the gays in California. That's what they said. Because them gay niggas over there are fucking fucking each other, and that's why there's hurricanes in Louisiana. That's why there's oh my god, it was amazing. It was really, they always want to blame something else, and I'm sick of it. But I swear to God.
Yo, we're almost past August.
August, nothing really happened. Just hurricanes fuck some shit up. Hopefully no one died. I'm sorry. Imagine like COVID plus hurricane. Like fuck.
But this whole year, like, there to me, and maybe this is like me revealing my privilege a little bit, but it sometimes felt like we were smacking ourselves in our own thumb with like a hammer, making it hurt more than it actually needed to always hurt.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, it was just like, ow, 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 like, and everyone's like, it hurts, and we're like, but fucking, it has to hurt more. And so everything that we dealt with was always like, let's pound our own thumb harder.
Yeah.
And there was no patience with anything. And like, everything was always just like, this is supposed to be the worst day. No, I'm going to double down on that worst day. Like, every day, every week, it was a new fucking hysteria.
Yeah, new hysteria.
We survived hysteria. I think we all should turn around and say, we're blessed and thank God we're here because we supposedly survived the worst year of all time.
Yeah, supposedly, and people are going to talk about it like, ew. I can't wait in 2025 when they're still going to be talking about this shit. And they're like 2020.
Dude, there's going to be so many people that are talking about it.
Books.
No, it's going to spin and they're going to be like, it wasn't that bad, man. Like, we got through that. Like, I was a hero. Like, I did my thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you tweeted, you're like,
yeah.
Pity party.
Yeah.
People are going to change their tune. They are not going to always talk about, like, there will be people that'll always talk about Trump as being the worst president of all time until the next Republican president.
Yeah. No one's talking about fucking Clinton right now. Bill Clinton. They're like, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
Because you talk about, if you're a righty, you say Obama was the worst of all time.
Yeah.
Now it'll be Biden was the worst of all time.
People forgot about Bush. People were like, I don't know that nigga.
That's what's so funny about, Bush really did, when it comes to international relations, mess things up so much more on a global scale when it comes to what we were doing with war.
He started wars. Didn't a couple of them?
Yeah. So, and now there is conversation of whether or not they were justified or not, but there is no debate that we fucked up so many countries and destabilize countries to a thing that is going to devastate them for years. Yeah. We made huge mistakes in that era.
I mean, why do you think Iran keeps popping up with problems? Iraq keeps popping up. Middle East keeps popping up with problems with the U.S. And I'm like,
but we have these people who are like, but Bush wasn't that bad compared to Trump.
Yeah. I mean, oh my God. I'm like,
and I'm not a guy that I actually like. I liked a lot of things that Bush did. Don't get me that. I am a weird conservative like that. But when it comes to what he did in the Middle East, dude, fuck Bush for that. Man.
Yeah, no. People in the middle. The reality is we did all that shit, and people in the Middle East hate us, and they hate them. People that don't like us don't like us. In the Middle East, and they're still want their fucking revenge.
100%.
I mean, shit's gonna keep popping up, and Russia's gonna come back too. I feel like, dude, a lot of countries are mad at us. Matter of fact, a lot of countries are mad at us, especially right now. But they're not mad at us because of us as a country doing like bad shit to them. They're mad at it because Trump is an idiot.
So humans are a weird thing, right? Yeah. Humans like a leader. Yeah. That's why we vote for Trump. That's why we vote for Biden. We want somebody to lead us. Similarly to that, we also like to be led by countries. Regardless of we like it or not, America is the leader of the free world. People think
the free world, important word.
They do think it's a debatable topic, right?
Yeah.
But we need a leader. Yeah. If it wasn't the U.S., who should lead? Who would we rather?
The free world. It's like someone's going to be like China, but the free.
It's like, who else would we want to lead?
Yeah, the only country you can even
Australia.
You could think of. I was thinking UK or Canada, but Canada has like fucking 10 people, and then UK has like 12. So I mean, I don't know. At least compared to us, So I totally
understand the conversation people want to have that America leads wrong and leads and is the not the right representative. And shouldn't represent the world. However, there is this weird thing with humans that we need leaders. Yeah. So my next question is always, who should be? Yeah. If it's not the U.S., who should it be?
Yeah, because I mean,
because we know who's clamoring for it.
Yeah,
it's China and Russia.
China and Russia, yeah. Russia has like fucking 13 people, like because it's so cold over there. But I mean, it has nothing to do with population, I guess. But yeah, that's what's always really interesting. I feel like. Trump opened up I guess Pandora's box, if you will, for leaders that are like a bit crazy and out there, and like because the UK got their Boris Johnson leader like in the middle of all this shit.
Yeah.
And like they were bitching about this lady.
We did set a tone with that,
dude. We set
with the outlandish people.
We set the fattest tone because we were like fuck Hillary Clinton, and they were like fuck whatever her name is, Margaret, whatever that chick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like, fuck this woman. at the same time. And then they're like, bring in the fucking crazy motherfucker. And then we're like Trump, and then they're like Boris Johnson, come on in. And then you literally see on the news them just fucking arguing in their little green White House or whatever the shit it is. They're just like rah, 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 and in their English tones, like, how dare you consummate the da 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 da. It's just like fucking weird. And you see all these leaders go crazy. Turkey elected their crazy ass leader. Brazil, Bolsonaro is fucking is just lighting up rainforests left and right. You got Russia still a leader. The Russian leader Putin, he renewed his power for like another XYZ years.
Yeah, he's gonna go for a while now.
He's gonna go for a while. He's like, no, I got the vote. Boom.
He always, what he does is he changes his position. I think he changes from like president to prime minister to like, he changes his title, and he like so he weaves around. Wow, it's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, so he did that. Who else? I was watching oh my god, I was watching a Reuters network YouTube video about what happened in 2020 leaders wise and when leaders changed hands, and it's like something in like Ethiopia is going through some shit. A lot of countries around the world, a lot of smaller countries are going through some shit. Paris is getting ready to like start some shit too. Or France, I mean. But yeah, so anyway, our U.S. news is hardly enough, but the world news is also very important because it does affect us no matter what. So for instance, like the last year, 2019, when the whole Taiwan thing was happening with China, and like they're trying to get their independence, everybody was like, save Taiwan from China, and we're watching this from Reddit, watching people get shot by rubber bullets, and we're like, wow, and people were like, literally in the comments like, wow, this will never happen in the U.S. 2020, fucking. Started happening in the U.S. and niggas get shot left and right with rubber bullets.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Not because we're trying to annex. It's because a black person got shot and everyone got mad. September saw the makeup of the highest court in the land change of the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. President Trump nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. That was pretty nuts.
I always like what's interesting with sometimes these like leaders, and I get it when like people die that like Kobe dies, right?
Yeah, early in this year.
But there was no denying that everyone already loved Kobe.
Yeah.
But like with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, everyone like she dies and everyone was like, oh my gosh, I always loved her most as a judge.
Yeah.
But I feel like most people like just Googled her that day and then they fell in love with her like that day. But she's historically totally challenged the system and definitely changed the way that position looks.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting how like
if Clarence Thomas dies, he's going to get the same shit.
Well, everyone always is like, now like they give it a 20-minute read and then they turn around and always say like, this person's my idol.
Yeah, because they're like, same for the same reason. Like Clarence Thomas.
I have no problem with
like,
that.
The first black.
But it's just bizarre. It's like, we should maybe learn about people before they die sometimes and celebrate them before they die.
Yeah. Totally.
Like, we love just jumping on the bandwagon of like, this is my favorite person. Let's make a t-shirt and wear it after they die.
Yeah.
We probably didn't know shit about her before she died, half of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's wrong. And maybe I'm only saying that because I'm an idiot.
No, totally. I didn't know the other people passed away, like Pop Smoke passed. I didn't know who he was. You know? Do you?
Oh, I mean, he's a rapper.
It was like a big thing, you know? MF Doom, the wife just let everyone know that MF Doom just passed away. By the way, he passed away on October 30th.
Was he he was a big deal?
He's a rapper, yeah. He was related, not related, but like on tier with like Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like there was like this, they're up on tier, I guess. And in terms of like liking, we're not like popular. Like his style of rap and stuff. Like that.
So many rappers died this year.
A lot of people passed away this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, rappers for sure. But
not many celebs died of corona though.
No, and I'm
like, you know what I mean? Like we had celebs dropping off the map this year,
dude.
But like not much corona.
No, and I was wondering why, and I'm like,
because everybody thought Tom Hanks was TKO,
and there was like, oh fuck, you know. But at the same time, I was like, because celebrities are working. They're not at home. They're not at home like they say they are. Okay, they're doing shit. So it kind of made me wonder a little bit why a lot of celebrities didn't get COVID. I know they stay safe. Obviously, celebrities are like really like pretentious about staying safe. Obviously, because you don't. Want to
Yeah, but they do it like Newsom, where
Yeah,
they say do it.
but they're not really doing it. And then
You really think all these celebrities up in Hollywood Hills have empty houses tonight?
kiss my ass.
Stop it, dude.
Kiss my ass. No,
There's no way.
they're having parties, but they're just private. They're like, guys, no phones, don't record anything.
Exactly.
That's it. So it really amazes me. And by the way, they're not the only people doing it. A bunch of people are doing it. Just wealthy people in general that are just like, yeah, like, whatever. So, I don't know. That made me it was just interesting, and I don't really know the answer to it. So I can start speculating, but I'm not going to do that this time.
Because it'll make us look like idiots.
Yeah. So October, COVID hit the Oval Office in October. President Trump was diagnosed with hospitalized and released.
Man, people were so excited.
Yeah, at least 25 people in Trump's orbit have tested positive for COVID-19. And see, the world reacts to President Trump's coronavirus diagnosis. That was interesting. I'm not gonna lie, like that was mild. Not, I wasn't happy, but that was mildly exciting. I don't know why. I was like, ooh, because you wanted to keep. That's when I actually wanted to keep up with the news a little bit. I was like, oh, what's going on?
I was seeing if Magic Johnson got COVID.
But like all of them beat it. Like no one catches it and gets fucked up.
I was looking like just for random celebrities.
Yeah.
That got COVID.
It might be like random comedians or something, but like no one like I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so intriguing to me that like.
That was interesting.
Because Tom Hanks was the big COVID one. Obviously, Trump was the big COVID guy.
Who else?
And everyone, I mean, you would think with Trump's diet and stuff, like.
I thought that nigga was dead.
Everybody was like, oh, he's out.
He's done. Like, I'm like, homie gone.
And then like, it was like one of those things where like, oh, you shouldn't be an asshole because COVID will kill you if you're an asshole.
Right. And at the same time, I was like, there's also the president. Where like, you don't think he has like top notch motherfuckers, like the best of the best.
Well, what's funny when it comes to like Trump and like Trump should wear a mask.
Yeah.
What I think is very hilarious about that is every single person that Trump. One, he probably gets tested once, if not like twice a day.
Yeah.
And everybody who gets to interact with him also is getting tested.
Yeah. They're not just fucking around.
When everyone's like, oh, Trump, you have to wear a mask. I go, why?
He doesn't.
Everyone, like, no, he's not super spreading it when he's walking around.
Yeah.
Should he tell the whole country, wear a mask? If he feels obliged to.
Yeah.
But he was trying to keep up appearances of, let's not be so scared of this thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have a problem with some of that messaging.
I kind of don't either, and I feel like this part was like everyone was like tripping too hard on him about this, like that whole thing, because there's a certain level where you're just like it doesn't like again like there's a certain level where it doesn't help anything, and it is very apparent. Like I don't get why people don't understand this part, but where like wearing a mask doesn't help if you're not socially distanced. It doesn't like matter. Like the whole point of wearing a mask is me not letting the particles get to you. But if you're right here, like it's gonna get to me. Somehow it's gonna go right through that little fucking piece of bra that I put on my face and get to you.
And I just don't know how like it helps like outside. Like I'm like, what are we doing?
So
when people are wearing it on the beach, like when they're running alone, I'm going.
When you're running, dude, and you're exercising with a mat, running.
I'm like, that is a political statement. That actually isn't like.
Yeah.
That's not a health thing. That's a political statement.
Yeah, you're literally choking yourself running. That's beyond me. And of course, November.
Rundown 2020.
November, Joe Biden gets elected.
The saving grace. He will end Corona, end all racial disparity in the United States, end all environmental and economic crisis.
Amen.
And actually, just when it rolls over to 12 tonight, 12:01, all of those things are also fixed too.
God.
If you didn't know.
And the economic issues.
All of it.
Yeah.
Because we have a new president coming, and it is a new year. Mm-hmm. It is a new minute.
Yep.
It's all gone.
And matter of fact, on top of that, the Senate, all the people in the Senate, they changed their minds too. They like him. They like him too. So they're just gonna be like, "Yo, yeah, totally, yeah," I don't know. So I feel like I'm glad Joe Biden won, but I also don't really think it matters.
Well, I don't want politics to always matter.
Yeah, so
Like they always matter in the overarching stuff, but not day to day.
not day to day,
man.
dude. I'm so sick of it. And I'm so sick of constant bullshit from this guy from Trump. And it's like every fucking day, it's like something else. And I kind of like the environment, you know. And so it's like a lot of shit was going down with the environment, and he was fucking that shit up left and right, just like taking away laws from the EPA. And I'm like, nigga, like go away, because you're like really like fucking up my future. And while you're gonna be dead and gone, like I'm gonna be trying to carry my kids with full blown fucking full blown suits and masks on to protect against the air, just to take my kids up the street. And I'm like, come on, man, like. So, I'm happy that Joe Biden won and everything, but I don't think it's going to really be much of a difference, because the government is set up to where even fucking Trump called it, like he was calling out the system, talking about the system is screwing me. If Trump said that shit, Obama said that shit, two completely different ends of the spectrum. The system is a system, and don't think much will change.
I think it's interesting. I think there's such a I think the left is so heels in the sand on some issues. I think they're going to hate Biden. I don't think he's going to be able enough. He's going to do enough to actually put hearts of where I hear some of the really, really far left at rest. I think that march will continue at like. I don't think I think once the boogeyman Trump is gone, where everyone feels like, oh, that was our only issue. No, man, and because I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah,
but I think if Biden's not careful, that all could flip on him so quick.
Yeah, and that's gonna be so bad.
So because then it's like, then what do we do? Like where do we really go, bro?
Yeah, because I feel like I mean, I don't know too much about politics. Obviously, being born in '95, I started giving a shit about politics right when Obama was basically elected. 2008, I was still in middle school, so like the only time I could vote, I voted for I was too late for second term Obama, and like I graduated, I turned 18 like his second term, second term. Okay. So I couldn't vote until Trump.
Oh, okay. That was your first time.
Yeah, first time. So like I didn't really care too much, but I don't know, man. I mean, from what I've noticed, it's too much like people in general are just not happy with how things are going with politicians, basically on both sides, and it's gonna keep. If Biden fucks up again, it's gonna flip to the other side, and people are not gonna be having the other side. It's gonna keep going like this, but for the most part, it's I feel like Trump changed a lot of things, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but if Joe Biden fucks us up, it could be something interesting in the future, because I feel like the Republican side, they actually don't have to try too hard to actually do a lot of shit. I think what they need is like a real smart person that's like has Trump's policies like in a way, but like that's like actually just like good talker, good smart person, relatable, and like knows how to get around the bullshit.
I think his ego is okay. Yeah. But like what he uses it for is wrong.
Yeah. And what he uses it for is wrong. And then like, but like still agreeing with what his party wants. Yeah. But like knows how to just do it better, basically.
Because that's what's kind of interesting about him. I actually don't think a lot of his policies are overarchingly disgusting, right? As much as his tone and how he says. Exactly. So what's funny is if he could just articulate why big government fails people, right? And why like deregulation, even of EPA stuff, where you would disagree with me on it, but like where putting it in the hands of people allows actually us to advance these things better than always putting it in the hands of regulation and government. Because we can vote with our dollar, and we do that every single day. It's like, if you don't like Amazon, stop buying Amazon shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't be Amazon Prime member. If you hate them that much, don't do that. If you hate Elon Musk, don't buy a Tesla.
Yep.
Like, that's the kind of things that we do actually support those systems more than we kind of put on ourselves. Like, you got to be like, I like Nike, but I also have to be careful with, man, like, are they enslaving people right now?
Yeah, are they
like,
really switch
like,
us?
am I going to have to explain, or my kid's going to have to explain that dad bought Nikes and that dad supported slavery? Like, is that another, is like, you know, because right now I have to, like, look in my history and go, did I have any family members that, like, supported slavery? And then every single time, if you're a white person in the conversation of slavery, you have to, you know, discuss it in a matter of, what would you have done if slavery existed?
Interesting.
What are we doing right now in a time that slavery still exists?
In other countries.
In other countries. And we give ourselves kind of the pass. We're like, but the colorways on those new Air Maxes. Wow. I'm still doing that to this point.
Yeah.
Or
man, like trip to Dubai is $4.99 because coronavirus. Woo! You know? Wow, that Burj Khalifa looked real nice, boy.
Right. So it's just it's funny, the like little paradoxes that we like let ourselves get away with sometimes.
Yeah.
But the point of what we were talking about was the Republicans actually have a lot more wind in their sail if they stop electing assholes, dude. Yeah. Just people that are well-meaning with good hearts that are actually leading by example. Like if it was a person that's made good money in their life, but they're also very philanthropic. Yeah. For the right reason.
Yeah. Or exactly. Made money, you know, by not scamming people or like doing the right business, good business. To a certain level. But there's always going to be blemishes in the record, no matter what. But to some level, doing like the right thing.
Then it's so funny where like people don't think like the values of like what the right stands by matter. Actually, most like, especially like first generation immigrant families totally already have those values in place. Yeah. They love community. They love self-drive. Right. They love faith. And like faith is very deeply grounded in most people in America and actually all around the world, but like
mostly in some level all around the world.
But to say like, you know, you're driven by God and that God matters in your life and that you think that, you know, a faith in God is what life's all about is something that I think the right gets a little bit dicey with, even though I do think that is where Christianity is in a lot of these spaces. Yeah. It's not valued right now because the actions that a lot of these guys are taking. There's too many hypocrites, and it's brutal. But there are hypocrites on both sides.
Yeah, there's hypocrites on both sides. You know, because like, you know, but at the same time, it's like you got like. Because I remember when Trump first started running, and I remember my mom literally told me, she's like, I might vote for Trump because Trump's a Christian. I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, are you absolutely fucking out of your mind? The fact that my mom, I thought she has good discernment, believe that. You know, a lot of people believe believe when someone says that. But also, it's like, even if you don't have to be like super Christian, but it's also like the people that believe it. It's also like they want to know that you value their values, and they also want to know that you will protect them and their rights.
Yes, 100%. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, and which makes a lot of sense, and I get it. You know, a lot of Christians just you know, they don't. I noticed, like, I looked around and they're like, unless they're like culty Christians, because there's a difference. Like those guys, that one Telepaster, like those culty fucking Christians. Weirdos.
Which is hypocrite 101.
Hypocrite 100,000.
And the most destructive type of hypocrite. Yeah. Like that person really breaks down the system more than ever.
And it was crazy is that they have the most people watching them. They have more members in their church, whether present or not present, than any other church.
It's because I do kind of believe in spiritual warfare, though. Yeah. I don't kind of believe. I totally believe in spiritual warfare in the sense that I think that the more that you get elevated and the more that you get put on pedestals to speak God's message, I do think the devil fights for you. in the sense, fights for your soul. And you see a lot of people that have high levels of exposure get really conflicted. I see that in pastors. I see that in Kanye. I see that in presidents and politicians, where it's like influence is a weird gravity.
Yeah.
And you get pushed to different spaces that people now see you as a person that understands life in a certain way. And I think a lot of those, God and the devil, are starting to kind of fight for your tongue.
Yeah.
And it gets, or for your heart, and it gets dicey.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of those guys started well-meaning.
Yeah. My grandpa, a pastor, listened to him religiously. Kenneth Copeland. He has bought his tapes and everything, books and everything in his house. And now he's talking about Joe Biden won the president. I'm like, what's wrong with you, my guy?
Is that the really wild guy?
Kenneth Copeland, yeah, pretty much.
Is he the guy who thinks he's like
his face is wide, like his head is wide, like he has his black hair.
Let me see this guy.
It's like pre-Arnold.
But I was wondering if this is the guy who's like running around on the big jets and stuff.
No, that's him. No. Kenneth. Look at my dumbass knows that.
Dude, this dude.
Yeah, that's him.
And like, I am not a person who like, I don't like to outwardly like say a person's misguided.
No, fuck that guy.
But like, this dude.
Look at his fucking eyes.
Seems like.
Look at his eyes, bro. That's
like the scariest eyes.
Talk about the devil steals your ass.
This, like the scariest eyes, man.
Demonic. I'm gonna have a nightmare about that.
I mean, when he's talking about how like he has to, he's blowing the coronavirus out.
Yeah.
And I'm big into prayer. I actually believe that prayer, it can heal your soul.
Yeah, me too.
Heal your health.
Me too.
I think you can pray away coronavirus. I actually think you can do these things, but the way that he did it, man,
the way he goes about it is pretty amazing.
And how he tries to explain his corporate jet is hilarious.
It's beyond me.
But he is taking tithes, and it feels like his congregation's cool with him flying. So I do get that, where it's like, if your congregation wants you to live that lifestyle and they're comfortable with it, and you're taking tithes, like, it doesn't seem like he's lying.
Okay, so here's one thing, and I think this is important to say. And this is probably something I'm totally going to be criminated for later on if I don't say the right things. Because I might actually do this. So I feel like people, and this is people that are not a religion, say about people that are religious, they can get manipulated pretty easily.
People that are religious are
can be
the manipulatable type.
Yes.
And that's why they follow religion.
Yeah. And so it's all about what you say and how you say it with these guys, these pastors. And especially places like in the it's a lot of so if you're very, very poor and you have family very, very poor, you're like, and you see this pastor, and you're like, well, I prayed to God and God gave me, everything I've always wanted. And he's like, you pray to God, you're everything you always wanted. And it's like, if you give me some. And I swear, this is how it goes. And then if you give me some, and you give, and you're like, just give. And then you'll get your blessing. And then give. Just give a little more. Keep coming to church. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Keep praying.
Like,
but by the way, I believe in God. Okay, I really do. But I don't believe in. Okay, there's a certain I don't want to get too much in the way, but like there's certain types of Christianity that or forget Christianity. I don't even put the label Christianity on it. Certain types of shit that people say, these pastors say, that it's just you're doing it more for less for God's benefit.
It's contractual.
For more.
Like if I give, then I'll get.
Totally. And it's totally contractual. Totally.
And I think that like when it comes to faith,
that's not what God is.
really like get into prayer and reading scripture and living. And what I mean by that is like taking ownership in like that you are a part of like what the earth is about, and that the intentions that God has for you. And if you really listen to your heart with your conscience, I think that there is a path that we're supposed to lead. I think that I give the world something, you give the world something, and it's good that they're different, because I think we're supposed to fill different holes in what the earth is supposed to look and feel like, and all these types of things. And I think we're guided by this energy, which I call God, by the way of our heart and our interactions. And I have found that the more that I listen to my heart and relieve myself of negative activities, drinking and like all of these different things, I do find that my spirituality is stronger. And I do feel that my life gets better. And I do feel that I can start listening to God better. And that path then gives me more of a real authentic direction, the one that I've always wanted. That is clarity. A process though.
Clarity.
And so, I do that. I do think that comes with sacrifice. And I think like the whole like tithing element. I do think that, separating some of your finances and putting it towards the mission. I think it's really an important task to show that sacrifice in your own heart. To then lead.
I think
but the way that some of these pastors discuss of why you should tithe is kind of bizarre.
Bizarre, strange, and you clearly see the way that they're putting the money, what they're doing with the money. Because technically, if we want to, there's a lot of conflicting stories in the Bible. So a lot of reports, these pastors say, and matter of fact, and they don't hide it, because they'll say it to the congregation, like, God wants you to be rich. And that's why I am. That's what they say. and so it's like, so that's why they say there's nothing wrong with me having a jet. There's nothing wrong with me having a nice house. There's nothing wrong with me having a nice suit, because I am representative of God, and God says I should be wealthy. And there truly is scriptures and whatever says that, like, you should do well for yourself.
I don't think God has a problem with you doing well for yourself. But I do think it gets dicey. When you're leading a congregation and you're flying on the jet, your soul is in a conflicting space. Because that's the whole thing. Like the rich man getting into heaven is like a camel trying to get to the eye of a needle. It gets dicey quick, and we see it often. And Jesus didn't lead that way. Jesus didn't turn his influence into monetary gain. And I don't think monetary gain is negative all the time.
If you're using the money for the right purpose, the reason why churches don't get taxes, because they need the taxes to fucking pay for more for the church, for the people, for this, for that.
Because they generally do good things for people. And they do good things for society. And that's why there is a tax break. Because they're like, oh, you're covering so many bases that we can't do.
We can't tax. Exactly. So we can't.
You're covering societies. Like you're helping us out.
You're helping us out. You're actually creating peace, damn near, for our whole country because of churches.
But man, like the thing is when it always comes to like God to me, a lot of people have a hard time believing in God because of bad men, like potentially this Kenneth Copeland guy who seems like a dicey character.
And I get it.
And so I get it. And so people are like, I can't believe in God because of guys like him. But then again, everybody can believe in the fact that love exists, right? Like you've fallen in love with somebody before, but we've also been manipulated by love. Everyone's been hurt by somebody that abused the real tangible love to their benefit and not yours. And you're like, ow, I got burned by love. Someone abused it. I think that's what happens with the scripture and with God and with experiencing God's true love. Bad people love to abuse good things. So what can you do? Like it's the most attractive thing in the world is God's true love. And so you're going to have some really bad characters jump in the middle of that. It's the way that it is. If you were a bad person, why wouldn't you go directly to the source in order to find true manipulation? That's real power.
Like
you'd want to maintain that.
You'd be like, oh, this is easy. I can get paid how much?
It's so real.
I get paid how much
and it's
for
free
what?
to give. Yes.
I can have how much influence? Oh, by the way, I can.
They'd be like, wait, God's true love's easier than selling crack. Oh, I'm going here. So I get why I'm not surprised that bad characters are in the middle of something that's so true.
Right.
And so to me, that actually almost proves God and that truth more when I see that bad people try to get in the way of it.
Because of course they are.
Of course they are.
Right.
Of course they are.
Right. Of course they are. Because it wouldn't be real. Yeah, it wouldn't be real if they weren't.
But I get that it totally distracts people from understanding that it's real.
It totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said was, I mean, more. I never heard that more in the money. Why it distracts people, and it just because you got burned doesn't mean it ain't real. You know what I mean? Just because you know something misbehaved doesn't mean something is not the right thing. So
100%.
So that's totally right on Kenneth Copeland, and there's many other passages like that. And that guy is
he seems like trash.
Something else, man. And he's gonna keep going.
And I hope he can get it right, man. Like, but man,
he's too old to get it right by now. Oh. Can you imagine Kenneth Copeland is like, oh guys, oh my God, I've been wrong this whole time. For the past 10 years, I know I've been preaching for the past 50, but for the past 10 years, I've been wrong. I wish him well, but it's not looking good. No, it ain't looking good, homie. Sometimes I kind of wish, like, they say, speaking of Christianity, they're like, okay, when you go to heaven, you go to hell, you got to stay in that place. You can't really see who's in what place. I kind of want to know. You know what I mean? A little bit. If I'm in heaven, think there's like you think heaven has like the I want like the mirror. A mirror. I want a window on both sides. I want to know. I want to know. Even if you're in hell, you're like, okay, so who made it and who fucking lied to me? Who lied to me? Said they were like, oh yeah, they're for cocaine, but they actually didn't. And then they're in hell. Like, can you imagine like you're in hell looking at the person in heaven? Like, they lied to me.
You're like, they did me dirty.
I'm sorry. That's
fucked.
It's real. He's like, you lied to me. He's a Christian.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of insights.
He really went to church.
I wonder what kind of insights we're gonna be able to have up there. Like, it's like,
that seems so weird. Can
we look through that hourglass or whatever? Yeah,
and then you'd be like, you're in heaven. You look down. It's like, Kenneth, I see you down there, dog. I knew it was you. I knew it.
Oh, so crazy.
Funny. What will amaze me if I'm like in heaven and then you see like fucking like Mike Pence just walking around behind you and you're like, hey, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I told you this whole time. December. Okay.
We're on to December. This is Smart and Mild Podcast.
Smart and Mild Podcast.
We're just a year in review. We're ranting, we're raving. This is the first time that we're actually live. Probably the first time that you've ever seen us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be coming at you basically every single Wednesday. We're going to get better at being consistent. Yeah, we do come with drip, though.
Yeah, drip. Drip is important.
But this is where we're at. We got Cameron studying the place, walking us through the year. So what you said? What month are we on right now?
We're in December now.
Okay,
month 12. We're in the current month of today is December 31st.
Wow.
We're in December. A lot of shit went down this year. I feel like a lot of shit, but kind of not at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's what's weird about our brains is we forget quick.
Yeah, and also I smoked a lot of weed this year. Like a lot. Because that's the thing that kept me saying, I'm going to tell you right now. Weed kept me saying.
Are you sativa or are you indica?
Both, depends on what time of day.
And I'm a neither when it comes to weed. I cannot smoke weed because it makes me crazy.
Hey, it kept me saying this whole time. I'm more of an indica, I guess, because I noticed I lived in house with roommates, and it's so funny. I've been in so many situations where like at least my roommates and my parents, I guess, like I'm the only person that smokes weed in that whole circle, and like all of them are losing their shit when COVID happened and doing like the weirdest shit, little things, and I'm sitting there just like high as fuck out of my mind, just looking at you like, what is your problem? As the stoner, and I'm sitting there just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So that was really interesting. Like just being stoned and looking at people during COVID, like freaking the fuck out. And you're just like, man, this shit sucks, man. So there's a benefit of being like lost in the clouds.
It was weird going through this experience where like I had ups and downs of like I got on a crazy health kick, smoothies every morning, running, really consistent work, and then I've had kind of a little bender periods.
Yeah.
We're like just drinking way too much wine, got way too much vodka in the mix. It started with just fun and cooking, cooking with wine. Got pretty good at cooking. Actually throughout COVID.
Same here.
So went through these weird transitions. Now I'm pushing hopefully to get more on that healthy end again.
Yeah.
But I had ups and downs when it came to how I was dealing with it as far as like on a physical element.
Yeah.
I got skinny and fat.
Yeah, me too. I literally got skinny, fat. I'm at the fat stage. I'm starting to go back into skinny again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh God, like I'm looking at my that's why I wear all black. I'm not kidding. So I was like, oh, well, something's going on. So, that was really interesting. The ups and the downs of the month. Let's go through December and let's wrap this up. December, COVID-19 vaccine breakthroughs. We talked about this at the beginning because we're not taking that shit. Inside looks at how coronavirus vaccine is distributed. Well, CBS News really knows how to diversify the news. Because there's literally corona, and President Trump. That's all they said, minus all the other shit that went down this year. But anyway,
that's the most interesting thing about 2020 will be what was swept under the rug.
Yeah. Wow,
we were all so focused on Trump,
dude.
You know what I mean?
I feel like
other things happened this year. We just don't know it yet.
I just know there is so much fraud happening right now, or happened this year. It is fucking believable.
Because all of our lens is on one thing.
Yeah, because when that's happening, people steal. I know that. Because when I was in high school, I used to steal from Walmart, and I know when there would be cops in front, and so I would actually so sometimes I did this in high school. I swear I haven't done this since. But if the cops came to Walmart and they were arresting someone else, I would get excited. I was like, "Woo! Free shit for me, boys!" Because the cops ain't coming again. All the employees, they're too one track minded because they're thinking about the kid who stole some shit that's already getting arrested, and they're looking at the cops stealing the kid. They're like, "Yeah, fuck you." Meanwhile, my ass is like, "Woo, homie! Free underwear for me, free shirts for me."
And that's happening all the time this year.
And right now, I just know because that's how these people's minds are. They're like, I'm gonna take in everything. Probably stealing from somebody's bank accounts, frauding this, stock market this, EDD, fraud this. Oh my God! I know.
It's gonna be crazy.
And that's the thing. I don't think it will all be caught. Most of it.
Yeah, I don't know. The washout's gonna be so interesting to see where. It's kind of watch the bird as I punch you in the chin.
Yeah, but it is gonna be like the one who does get caught. It's like showing your ass. You're like ooh, and it was like ooh, but there's also gonna be someone on the side like ooh, like
I mean, the person who was pointing the fingers will be also in on it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
You got caught. So yeah, man. I mean, other than that, I mean, the last thing is December is the COVID vaccination is approved, and we're not taking that shit. Not anytime soon. Maybe unless I get COVID. I don't know.
Well, if you get COVID, then you don't need the vaccine.
I don't.
No.
I'm good. But what about COVID-19 too? COVID-21. What about that shit?
I mean, I don't even think we have time to talk about that right now.
I don't think we do. I think
that's coming up next talk. We're going to start talking about the evolution of the coronavirus. How there's volume 2 coming out.
Yeah, my God. So yeah, man, that's basically our year recap. I mean, it leads us to where we are now today, and I think what that sets us up is for we just started this podcast.
Yep.
This is our third episode or fourth
episode? Third episode.
I don't know why I feel like it's fourth.
Maybe it's our fourth. I don't know.
I'm not really sure. But so we just started this podcast, and I think for this next year, you're gonna see a lot more. Y'all gonna see a lot more of what's watching, and we're gonna kick some ass. I feel like there's so many things that we can do and talk about and add people on. I think we can really make something good. And I think this podcast this next year, 2021, is going to be dope as fuck with you.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun what kind of journey it takes us on.
Yeah, man. And I think, lots of good conversations to have, a lot of good memories to have in the future. And I'm fucking pumped for 2020.
I love it. I'm really excited that we started this, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. But thanks for listening in. If you watched or listened, we are on stereo. We'll be on YouTube. We're on Twitch right now, on Reddit,
Facebook,
Instagram. I'm just trying to say, like and subscribe, all platforms, baby.
Yeah, we're opening this bitch up, man. Like, for real. And, and shit's going to get crazier. I'm going to tell you that right now. So we're getting more comfortable because we're only getting started. So
I love it.
I'm pumped. So
all right, over and out from Smart and Mild.
Smart and Mild. Love you all. Peace.
Yeah. Cool.